Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you on this glorious Wednesday morning. Today is Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. And I want to welcome you to Purposed Journey Counseling LLC. Locked in. We are locked in for 2024. We've been locked in since January 1st. And even in July, we're still locked in. So we want to welcome you this morning. It is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But whether you're catching us live at 7 a.m. or you catch this later in the day, later in the week, later in the month, or even later in the year, we want to greet you and say welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and one of the therapists at Purpose Journey Counseling LLC, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So as I stated, it's 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are live. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, and the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So we ask that you take just a few moments to please like the broadcast, like our pages, follow us on your preferred social media platform. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Even if you don't watch us on YouTube, it's all good. But if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, we would greatly appreciate it. Share, 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 share. If this is your first time tuning in, this is going to be not a long message, but something that's going to encourage you, uplift you for the rest of your week, potentially the rest of your month, but even the rest of the year. The rest of the year gives you some things to think about. So let's also interact and engage in the comments section. But let's share, share, share. Like I always talk about, there's so much negativity being shared. Let's share something positive whenever you're catching this. So before we go any further, I want to share this number. I always do. If you're experiencing some type of mental health emergency or crisis, or someone else is, there is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The number is 988. Again, the number is 988. This number is 24/7. You can text or call this number. So please make sure you have it available. Just store it in your phone. If someone, having an emergency and you're like, hey, you can dial 911. You can also utilize the lifeline as well, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So please, 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 please make sure you have this information stored in your phones if you do not already. So thank you so much for taking just a few moments to do that. It is Wednesday, as I stated. It is Wednesday, and on Wednesday, we come together for what we call our Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesdays are phenomenal because we have just about 15 minutes of just talking about something that hopefully, like I said, helps us get through our day, our week, the month, the rest of the year. That's something that's just encouraging and uplifting. The theme for July has been rest. So we've been talking about rest all month. I said because this is big vacation month for a lot of people, and it's still summertime, and a lot of times we're just going, and rest tends to be sometimes the last thing that we're even thinking about. So today I want to talk to you from this: find rest, or rest will find you. Find rest, or rest will find you. What in the world are you talking about? Guess what I'm talking about? You know how sometimes, like, everything seems to be going fine. You're just busy, you're busy, but you're keeping this appointment, you're keeping that appointment. You didn't miss this, you didn't miss that. You're just going, and then boom, you get sick. Oh, now I got strep throat. I can't go around people until this antibiotic kicks in. So now I have to actually sit down. Or then you're going, and oops, up, now I done got COVID, and now I got to quarantine and do this and do that. Now, yeah, that could be a little bit, you could say, oh, you're kind of exaggerating a little bit. Maybe it's not that serious, but maybe it's migraines. So maybe it's not something that forces you to sit down per se, something that you can't be around other people, but it could be like having a migraine or having like back pain. You have had back pain in forever, and now all of a sudden your back is hurting. Could it maybe, just maybe, be because maybe you're doing a little bit too much and your body starts to tell you, hey, it's time to sit down. Even when you're not thinking about sitting down, it wasn't in your purview to sit down, it wasn't on your schedule to sit down, but somehow, some way, your body starts to tell you, hey, guess what? I'm done. I don't know what you're doing, but me, I'm done. I'm done. I need to rest. I need to sit down. I've done too much. I've done enough. I need a break. Has that ever happened to you before? Like it's like you feel like you get knocked on your behind, essentially. That has happened to me before out of nowhere. Like I just start feeling sick, or I just start having all these pains, or literally migraines or different things. So I say, okay, maybe it's not COVID, or maybe it's not strep, maybe it's not something that you can't be around people, but maybe it's something that all of a sudden you just don't feel right. You don't feel, you're starting to feel completely over exhausted and weak and just tired. And even maybe you go to urgent care and they tell you there's nothing really going on, there's nothing really too serious, but really you probably just need to sit down and rest. Our bodies are phenomenal. They're very phenomenal the way, we were created, and how they start to show us things and give us little hints about certain things. You know how, like, when you start to feel tired, sometimes you start to yawn, you're like, oh, I can barely keep my eyes open. Oh, I wonder why I'm feeling this way. You notice because your body starts to give you these telltale signs of, okay, it's time to go to sleep. Well, guess what? Your body gives you these signs, or nope, another one. When you're hungry, sometimes your stomach starts growling. Sometimes you get a hunger headache. Your body starts to tell you, I need to eat. Guess what? Your body often tells you when it's tired from just being overworked, or it tells you when your body is ready for rest, when your body is ready for a break. If you think about working a work shift, and if your work shift is 8 hours long, and this is what you do 5 times a week, around a certain point, it might be different for everybody in terms of when, but around a certain point, your body starts to tell you, okay, yep, time to go do something else. Your mind starts to tell you, yep, time to actually step away from these responsibilities and let me go do something that does not require me to think, that does not require me to necessarily even move, but allows me the opportunity to sit down and breathe for a second. It's the same thing. Our bodies will rest if it gets to that point. There are so many times, and I think about so many situations where some stuff we deal with can be avoided. Because if we're more intentional about resting, if we're more intentional about taking breaks, it doesn't become so heavy when we actually get tired. And yes, of course, there's certain seasons of just whether it's jobs or family, whatever it is, where there can be a lot going on. A lot of times it can be very, very challenging and difficult to step away from certain things. There's a lot of things that happen, and some things are really outside of our control. However, some things we can do better with. And one of those things is finding rest. Like I said, or rest will find you. And guess what? When rest has to find you, when rest has to come knocking on your door, guess what? It's probably going to be at the most inconvenient time. Because if rest has to come find you because they needed you to rest 3 weeks ago and you just been going, and rest actually let you max yourself out to the point now rest is like, okay, that's it. That's all. I can't do any more of this. We're going to have to change something now. Rest comes and finds you. Sometimes rest comes in the form of a cold, a headache, body ache, all kinds of illnesses, sicknesses. All of a sudden, you're having trouble with this and you never had trouble with it before because your body is tired. Our minds get tired. And that's why it's important to rest. We have to rest. We have to make it part of our routines, honestly, really on a daily basis. That's why you sleep at night. And some people, think, well, when I just go to bed, that's enough rest. Well, let's say even if you get 6 to 7 hours of sleep at night, what are you doing the other 17, 18 hours of the day? What are you doing? Are you going? Our work days may only be so long. I know some people who work 12-hour shifts. They vary. They vary. So what rest you need or what amount is good for you is going to vary depending upon you. But we got to learn how to listen to our bodies. And hopefully and prayerfully, it doesn't get to a point where we have to always be at our max before we start listening to our bodies. Or I didn't hear anything about what I was supposed to do until my body started tripping. And then my body said, you know what, I'm done. Then I realized, oh yeah, the telltale signs were there. I had the sniffles a few days ago, and now I got a full-blown cold because I won't sit down and I won't stop. I want to encourage you all today. Please find rest. Rest will find you if you don't rest. It is inevitable because we all get to that max. We all get to that point where enough is enough. And guess what? You don't get to tell your body when enough is enough. Oh, can you just push me through and just get me through this last little thing, this last little task, this last little meeting, this last little responsibility? And sometimes our bodies are like, no. Our brain sometimes like, no, I cannot do anything else. And I'm sure if you think about it, you've gotten there. If you've been in school, any kind of school, whether it's grade school or college and grad school, and you're studying and you're writing, and you get to that point where it's like, nope, that's enough. I can't take anymore. That's the same thing that happens with our bodies. A lot of times, like, you know what? I cannot take anymore. I'm done. I don't know what you think you're about to do, but I'm tapped out. I'm finished. There's nothing left that I have to give you or anybody else in this moment. So isn't it better, I think, just a little bit more fruitful to be able to plan your rest than have your rest plan you? You know, you go ahead and plan the vacation that you haven't taken because you just won't walk away from work. You have the time off, you just won't take it. Or you end up having to use sick time that you really don't need to use. And then the time that you ended up being sick because your body was just weary, really, you could have used that for vacation time and fun, but then you end up using the time off to be ill because you didn't take the time when you should have months ago. A lot of us are like that. We're just racking up that sick time, racking up that PTO. If you have jobs that just allow you to accumulate. And I'm all for, saving things for a rainy day. But sometimes it's raining and we think that it's not. Sometimes we're like, oh, it's just a little sprinkle. Does it have to be pouring down? Does it have to be a thunderstorm before we decide, oh, now's the rainy day? Guess what? That PTO time's not going with you. It's not going with you. It's going to be used or lost. Find rest, or rest will find you voluntarily or involuntarily. I would prefer to volunteer myself to rest. Yes, of course, sometimes we still get ill, things happen, but some of these things happen because we're doing too much. And if we would just be more cognizant of how we're spending our time, how much downtime we have, and making sure that we're putting ourselves in situations where we have those opportunities to just take a break, just take a breather even. Oh, how much more great things will be more productive, more fruitful. But then we're not like always tired, always exhausted. That's not fun to always be tired. Been there. Doesn't matter how much, you're always tired. We don't want to live like that. Life is so much more than just doing stuff. We want to be able to enjoy life as well. So just plant that little seed. We'll plant that little seed in your spirit. Please, 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 please. Find rest, or rest will find you. And rest when it finds you is not so nice. Not so nice. Not so nice. So that is our Wellness Wednesday for today. So just as a little quick reminder, we do have our Wellness Wednesdays every Wednesday, live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have our podcast, #From a Christian, #From a Therapist with Dr. Natatu, on the first Sundays of the month, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we are grateful for this platform. We are grateful for you, and we appreciate your support. We appreciate you just tuning in this morning or whenever you're tuning in. I'm going to put that back up there for just a second because that's our Wellness Wednesday for today. So, our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling every time we are together, I want to encourage you to be loving, be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as towards yourselves. Okay. So again, we thank you so much for tuning in. Lord willing, we will see you next Wednesday, which will be the last day of the month. I cannot believe we've gotten this far. Live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next Wellness Wednesday. We pray that you find some rest today, that rest doesn't have to find you. We pray that you are blessed, 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 blessed. Have a wonderful, amazing day, and blessings and love to each and every one of you.